gospel at the end. Paul is challenging the Galatians about the faith in Jesus and his grace. So the chapter 3 speaks about faith, law, promise. But here he discourages the Galatians to depend only on the law. He says to them, does God give you his spirit and work miracles among you because you observe the law or because you believe what you heard? Consider Abraham. He believed God, and it was credited to him as righteousness. The law does not based on faith, and no one is justified before God by law. However, Paul continues to argue that the promise made to Abraham and to his offspring, single word, not springs, were given by faith to Abraham, and the offspring is Jesus. The law was given 430 years later. So why do we need the law? How should Christians relate to the law of Moses and the promise today? Paul's argument is that the law was added for the people's transgressions and for the violation of God's standards. By the law, sin could be clearly specified and measured. The biblical laws define sin, but don't save us from it. It is exactly as the example of the doctor who examines the patient and finds the illness, but can't cure it without the right medicine. Paul continues that the law prepares the way to Jesus, the good news. For Jesus is the medicine of all illnesses, especially sin, which can be cured by faith in him. However, the promise was given to all nations through Abraham, and it's written, in you shall all nations be blessed and be heirs of the promise by their faith in Jesus' offspring. So the promise is stipulated by faith in Jesus and not by law. The law can define the whole world as prisoners of sin, but also can define the world as its equal in salvation, redemption, and promise to all who believe. So Christians are equals in this matter, in the law, in the grace of the gospel, Jesus, and the promise. And they ought to continue to be the source of blessings to all nations, to other people around them, to reach each, to heal them, to help them, cure from sin, which is defined by law. So we could also add, as James put it, works, faith and works go together. So to cure the people only by actions as believers, who could and should promote healing, wholeness of creation, the word shalom, healing, and to God's creation. For example, the gospel is speaking about the love of God, the tegal, and love the neighbor. An example was the Good Samaritan story. And the two people who were passing by knew exactly what the law says. The Levites and the priests did not stop to help. So they knew the law, but the law did not save the wounded man on the way from Jerusalem to Jericho. But the Good Samaritan symbolized by Jesus, by His mercy and His grace and His love, as in mercy, stop and heal this wounded man. So by the grace of Jesus, we could go and heal others by our action, by our faith, by our behavior, by our witnesses as Christians. So we know the law. We probably, some people don't know the law about stopping when you have accident and wounded people in the street. You won't remember everything the law says. But when we stop and help wounded people, we stop because of the mercy of the Lord, because of His grace given to us, and not because of the written law. The written law can be forgotten, but the action is taken because of our love and Jesus' love to us. This is